In today's video, I'm going to show you how to set up the Janome M17 for free motion quilting success. Hi, I'm Kim Jamison Hurst of Chatterbox Quilts, and there are a few things you need to do on this machine and other Janome models to get it set up so that you will have great results when you are free motion quilting. Now, the Janome M17 also has the accurate stitch regulator, but that's another video. So today we are just talking about regular free motion quilting. And let's get into how you need to set up the machine and what menu choices you have when you want to do free motion quilting. So when you're free motion quilting, you want to make sure that you have the straight stitch needle plate installed, and it looks like this. Now, this machine, the Janome M17, comes with 3 different needle plates, so this is one of the 3 you'll find with the machine. So you want to make sure you install this on the machine. But before you do that, there's also a bobbin case. Now this is an optional purchase. This is what we call the blue dot because there's a little blue mark on it. Blue dot bobbin case. It's actually 8 grams. It has lesser tension on the bobbin thread, and that helps when you're doing free motion quilting. You also need to make sure you're using the right needle, and that would be the Janome purple tip needle. This is a 9014 needle, works really well for free motion quilting to prevent thread breaks and thread nests, that type of thing. And then you come to the really fun part, and that is what foot do you choose to use? Now, we are all familiar with these kind of darning type feet, I should say, foots, yeah, darning feet. This is called the PDH foot. And you can see that this is an acrylic and it's got the open in the middle, but it's acrylic all the way around. But you have another choice. So that would be your closed toe foot, but you also have one that's identical except for the fact that it's open at the front. So I like this foot because I find it gives me better visibility. But you do have to be a little careful if you have a lot of embellishments on your quilt, for example. You might want to stick with the closed toe one so that you don't get the open edges of this foot caught on them. You wouldn't want to do that. But there are other feet you can use as well. So we have these little guys here. These are the QO and the QC feet. The O is the one that's open, so similar to the PDH feet. And the C is the closed one. So these are great when you're doing, I like to use these when I'm doing really small, dense quilting because they hold that fabric right down really close, and it's just really easy to see where you're going when you're trying to do that little tiny quilting. Then you have the QV foot. This is kind of a funny looking little one, or I call this like a dish foot. This is great for doing variable zigzag. That's another video. But it's also good if you are working with applique, especially if you're working with applique where, let's say it's wool applique, where your applique pieces may be kind of sticking up a little bit above your background just because of the thickness of the material. This will go up to the edge of the applique, and because it's curved up, you can get right close up to the edge of those applique pieces without getting kind of stuck in them, if you will. It also has these red lines on it. That's great for echo quilting because you could line one of those lines up with a seam line or a previously stitched line and then stitch just a little bit away. I'm not sure if that's quite a 1/4 inch. It looks close to that. So that's also a foot you can use. Now, these feet here look a little different than these in that there's no holder on those, right? Well, not to worry because they actually fit on your regular foot holder. Okay, I just had to take one of my feet off my regular foot holder to show you. So there's your regular foot holder. And usually you just snap the foot into the front, and that's all you would do. These are a little bit different in that you can see there's 2 bars here, and one will fit in the back of the foot. If I can show you this side, there's a little indent on the back of the foot that will go in the back of the holder, I should say. That goes in the back of the foot, and that just snaps down on the front and it holds it in place. So these are held in place. They're not moving up and down. Some other feet, when you put them in just attaching at the front, they will kind of almost float a little bit. They have a little bit of flexibility in them. This one doesn't do that, and you don't want that on these feet. To release it and take that foot off the holder, just the same as anything else, you just hold the back, it'll come off the front, and you just bring it forward a bit to take it off the back. So all 3 of these feet will fit on your regular foot holder, which seems really weird for free motion quilting, but trust me, it works just fine. All right, so we know how to set up the machine physically, but you also have menu choices too. And by the way, when we're talking about these feet, so they just attach on, let's just put one of these on, for example, They just attach on like they normally do with any of the feet you'd be using, your regular foot holder, of course. And then I have my screwdriver on the top because there's magnetic parts on the top of this machine that I can put them in. I like to do that when I'm working. You want to make sure you take your screwdriver and just give it just a gentle little turn to make sure that foot is attached really well on there. And then let's take off that needle plate that's in there right now. I have my regular zigzag needle plate. Let's just take him and put him over there for now. And so I can show you this bobbin case I was talking. I'm going to take my bobbin out, and then the regular, which is like a yellow dot, bobbin case, and this one is 10 grams. Okay, you'll see the part number in there, which is a long number, and you also, I don't know if you can see that or not, but it says 10G, 10 grams. Okay, so with the 8, it's less, right? 8 grams, less than 10, a little bit less tension. And you just kind of slide it in, and you need to make sure it fits. There's kind of a groove in that bobbin case holder, so you want to make sure that bobbin case kind of slides in there. Sometimes, there we go. You just need to kind of play just a little bit with it. Be gentle with it. It'll move slightly, but that's all it should do. If it's still sliding around too much or on an angle, it's not in right yet. Try again. And then you just want to take your needle plate, and it snaps right in there, and it's locked into place. So we've got all this set up, right? I've got a purple tip needle actually in here as well. So everything's all set up that way. However, we need to now look and see what are our menu options, because there are a few. So let's take a look at those. So you want to make sure you're in your home screen. So hit the little house button, and you want to go into the sewing application mode. Then you choose the quilting area, which is the feathers with the heart in the center. And you have these different options. Of course, we want to go into free motion and see what we have there. So you can see that we have 4 different stitches available to us here. It's automatically going to select straight stitch 1. So you have straight stitch 1 or 2, and it's going to suggest the PDH foot there. And the differences on there, as you'll see over here, is where that stitch is forming. So on straight stitch 1, as it says, M is forming in the middle of your foot. Straight stitch 2 is forming to the left side. Similarly with straight stitch 3 and 4, you're going to find where the stitch is formed is in the middle, and it suggests either the QC or QO feet. And then if you're in the straight stitch 4, it's forming on the left side, so you're going to use the QV foot. So those are the choices that you have in free motion quilting with that straight stitch needle plate installed. So you're going to choose whatever's going to work best for the type of quilting you're going to do on your quilt. Typically I work with straight stitch 1, or I might go down to straight stitch 3. Even when I'm working in straight stitch 3 and it tells me or suggests that I can use QC or QO I should say, I can also use QV if I want to. That's not going to cause any problems. So I can do that too if I'm working with applique, for example, and I want that stitch to be in the middle of the foot. I can certainly do that. So those are the choices you've got when you're working on the M17 in the free motion quilting mode. So get your machine set up properly physically, and then make sure you choose one of the 4 options. And you might want to do a little bit of practicing first just to see how it works when your stitch is in the center of your foot as opposed to the left. One may work better for you than the other, and it's really nice that you have those options available to you on this machine. Thanks so much for watching today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and make sure that you subscribe and hit the bell so you'll be notified the next time I release a new video. And for more helpful quilting information, be sure to go to my website at www.chatterboxquilts.com.